Nation Podcast. The B Nation Podcast, Miguel Tello.
114 episodes, more than 150 hours of content, and 224 music guests. This is the story so far of the B Nation podcast, a show that started without being planned on the very first day of the pandemic. The show was meant to be a spin-off of the app The B Nation that represents all the artists that they want to be part of the nation, all the artists that they bring the best new music from around the world. Never in our best dreams we thought that this show would be a success. We have so many new listeners that they are starting to catch up on the B Nation podcast. For that reason, we decided to do a 5-episode special called Wrap Up, where we are going to do a recap of all the highlights that we have so far over the last 7 seasons. This is the B Nation podcast. I am Miguel Tello, and we are presenting you our episode 9. This one is called Wrap Up, episode 4, with the best moments of season 6, and let me give you a huge welcome to another episode of the B Nation podcast, where we are bringing you the best new music from around the world. Our main mission on season 6 was to bring you new ways of telling you what's happening in the music industry with big stories or inviting music industry professionals that they were doing a fantastic work. Season 6 came with 16 exciting episodes and 36 stunning guests. Mercy, AJ Smith, Josh Bogert, Noble, Timmy Comerford, C Magic 5, YBR, Ben Provincial, Liam O'Brien, Shannon, Belaro, Ian Nelson, Christoph, Alex Angelo, Nightbreakers, Ross Harris, Noah Remson, John Michael Howell, John Rising Sounds, Andrew Matarazzo, Caswell and Chanel Jolet, Scott Hellman, Mia Baron, Fiona Beban, Gigi Grombacher, Claudie June, Mac London, Dasha, Lai, Gia Lily, Alex Angelo, Jada Barnes, Daniel Jurey, and there are another 3 artists that they are the ones that we selected for a recap on this episode of Wrap Up, and the main reason is because they are huge international superstars. It was the honor of my life to bring for the first time a drag performer on the B Nation podcast. From RuPaul's Drag Race Season 6, the incredible Laganja Stranja was on the show to introduce her single Poison Ivy, and these are the best moments of our interview with Laganja Stranja. It's time on the B Nation podcast to, receive to someone that for me it's a dream come true, just because she doesn't need any introduction because she's iconic, and we have the honor and the pleasure here on the B Nation podcast to receive to the one and only Laganja Stranja. Laganja, how are you?
I'm excellent. How are you today?
I'm really good. Welcome to the B Nation podcast. Honestly, it's an honor to have you here on the show, especially because I've been following your journey, and you're a person for me to admire. Honestly, I'm talking this from the heart. This is something that I wanted always to say, and I'm right now very happy that I just say it.
Well, thank you so much.
But I'm just wanted to tell you something. I'm saying this from the point of view that you are an incredible artist, you are an incredible creator for me, and you are also as well an incredible choreographer. I mean, because honestly, your skills are spectacular, girl.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Look, Laganja, here on the show, we talk with a lot of artists that they are trying to make it in this tough music industry, right? So one of the things that I feel like you are great about is for so many people that they don't know how to market their music. They don't know how to present to the world themselves, And I feel like one of the things that I found fascinating from you is that you managed during your whole career to keep your branding, who you are alive, even because I understand that every year there is a lot of new queens that they come out of the show, and obviously competition is always going to be more tough at the end of the day, but the reality is that you are one of the most loved persons that the loved queens that the people love, people that love you, and that's the reality, that people they love who you are, people you feel a lot of the love from your no fans, from your bats. That's something that we're gonna talk about in a second, because I know that you don't like to talk, you don't like to call them fans. But my question is, what type of advice would you like to give? Because I'm pretty sure that we have here on the show right now a lot of people that they want to follow, the steps that you have been giving during your whole career, and what exactly did it help you to, music-wise, of course, to be the artist, the creators that you are today?
Well, first off, I would tell anybody who has a passion, whether it be music, whether it be drag, whether it be just being a good person, it takes a lot of self-will, and you have to be really in touch with your heart. I believe in leading with my heart first. I've always worn my heart on my blouse. And second, I would say, it takes a lot of money to be successful. You got to spend money to make money. So I always encourage people to find the right team first before they move forward, because you're gonna need support from others, and you're gonna need people who are able to work with your financial constraints, because as we all know, in the beginning when you're starting career, most people don't have a lot of money. I know I didn't. So it took me quite some time before I found my BSE team, which is out of Atlanta and has been producing my music for the last, I want to say, 4 or 5 years. And I feel extremely grateful that after a lot of trials and tribulations that I finally found a company that's really able to work with my budget and still create a high quality product.
So that was Laganja Stranja on the B Nation podcast with the best moments of her interview that it was on episode 6. And on the following episode, we had a superstar with an incredible fan base. Jake Miller was on the show to talk about his recent tour and future releases. These are the best moments of our interview with Jake Miller. Our next guest recently finished a very special tour called Hi, I Miss You. And we're thrilled to have him on this episode of the B Nation podcast. He's a legend, and he's Jake Miller. How are you, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Welcome to the B Nation podcast. Honestly, it's an absolutely pleasure to have you on the show, because I believe that you just finished a very special tour for you that it's called Hi, I Miss You, where you managed to 32 dates in 2 months. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, it was 32 shows, 10 of my best friends on a tour bus going city to city. It was the greatest 2 months ever. None of us got sick. We were all safe. We were all healthy, and most importantly, we got to see the fans for the first time in a few years, and just do what we love most, and that's being on stage performing. So it was so much fun.
I can imagine, especially after the times that we believe in, right? So how was the feeling when it was the opening night? There was too much excitement around. What can you remember on the first night?
A lot of different emotions before the tour started, and on the first night, when we announced this tour last year, I was one of the first artists to announce a tour, and a lot of people were telling me it was too early. We don't really know what's going to happen with the pandemic in 2021, and I wanted to announce it. I thought it was time, and so I was nervous for a long time that nobody would show up, and the ticket sales would be bad. But going into that first show, Mesa, Arizona, there was a bunch of people there, and it kind of just kicked off the tour in a really great way, and it just made me realize, okay, this tour is going to be a great success. So it was so much fun. Every single night was great. People showed up. And I really took in every single moment. I soaked it in, because, these last 2 years, we've just been sitting home on the couch, and, I realized how quickly it can be taken away from us. So I really just appreciated every moment on this tour.
And you know what? The power of live music, that we took that for granted, isn't it?
Yeah, that's very true. It's very obvious how badly people needed that live music, because there was just so many people in the crowd, and who would just you could just tell they were screaming the words, and they were back in their happy place. And people before and after the shows just telling me how this is their first concert that they've been to in years, and how excited they are to be there. And everybody was just really, really happy to finally experience live music again.
Yeah, I mean, I bet that is the best feeling ever. Jake, here on the show, on the B Nation podcast, what we do is we like to empower artists to be the artists that they want to be, right? And then basically, a lot of our audience right now, it's young artists, that they are starting to, obviously, to start in the music industry. And what I know about you especially is that you have a long career so far, and I know that you are able to give an advice to anyone out there that obviously is listening right now. I just want to ask you, what is, as an independent artist that you are right now, what is the 2 or 3 things that actually help you to keep on going in your career?
I have a great support system. I have amazing friends and family who, just support me to the fullest and support me in every decision that I make. and then I have my fans who, have just been following me for over a decade. Some of them have recently discovered me, but some have been following me since I was in high school in 2011. So, just to see those people in the crowd over years and years, and, just to see them coming back year after year, it's really special. And, I think I've built, a fan base that, most artists would kill for, because I have such dedicated fans. We might not have the biggest fan base in the world, but we have, just such dedicated fans who...
We have the enormous privilege to have Jake Miller on the B Nation podcast, and you just listened to the best moments of our interview on the show. I want to have a special mention to our spin-off show Backstage with Tom Featherstone that it happened during our season 6. As I said previously, this was the season where music industry professionals started to come to the show, like the one and only William Derela, former president of Das Communications and manager for international superstars like Black Eyed Peas, Fergie, John Legend, and many others. We had a super masterclass about the music industry, and it was an incredible honor to have William on the show. These are the best moments of our interview with William Derela. It's time for our segment in the studio, and this week on the B Nation podcast, we want to talk about the important role of a manager in the music industry. For that reason, we invited to William Derela, who is a music manager and the former president of Das Communications. William, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Miguel?
Welcome to the B Nation podcast. Honestly, it's an honor to have you here on the show.
Well, it's my honor. I love what you're doing at B Nation. I've been checking out your podcasts, and I think you're just doing a great job with helping new artists, get some exposure, turning them on to your great audience. And I'm just pumped to be here. What's up, B Nation?
Hey, so thank you, honestly, because coming from you, that means a lot. Let me tell you, here on the B Nation podcast, we empower artists to be the artists that they want to be. That's pretty much the main message of the show. I just want to make you questions about the important role of being a manager. William, in between your credits, you have been a music manager for artists like the Black Eyed Peas, Fergie, John Legend, Sean Paul, Natasha Bedingfield, the Veronicas, Kesha, the Pretty Reckless. That's part of your credits, which is they are global superstars. As a manager, what was your main motivation to keep on going during these 20 years with all these artists? Because sometimes I believe that the relationship between artists and managers, that shouldn't be that easy, right?
It's not easy. It's kind of like a marriage. It takes work, it takes cooperation, it takes communication. You can't build something and have it last for a long time without putting in the hard work. And I think that manager-artist relationships, we see today a lot of artists will jump from manager to manager to manager, 2 years with one, a year, 3 years. I've had multiple artists who I've managed over 10 years through, I got to see them, meet their husbands or wives, get married, have children, and also see them build their careers in a way that just doesn't happen for most people. I mean, I've been incredibly blessed to manage the people that I've worked with. The one common denominator of all of them, you said, what is it that keeps you going? And I'll tell you straight up, it's song. It's without a great song, it's very, very hard to break through the clutter and all the information. We live in this kind of attention economy right now where you've got, Twitch, you've got social media platforms, you have news, you have politics, you have streaming services for music, you have streaming services for movies and television and series. All of these things take time out of our day. And that's, if you have a job or you have a family, you got other things that you got to take care of as well. So it's very hard to capture people's attention. The one way that I've always found, and I've been successful with, is with an amazing song. A song that can last for years, if not decades. And I've been fortunate that, I've found and been able to work with artists directly who write their own music, who produce their own songs, who then can go and tour and play that music. And that's crucial, because being self-reliant, self-sufficient, that's, those are really big things the most important things really to help you in your career. So I've always focused on that, and I've always been attracted to that. And I have a million stories about songs that I've had that have sat for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and then eventually come out. And when they come out, and I waited for the right opportunity, the right timing, the right moment. And when the songs came out and they were number one in 200 countries, I knew that a great song, it doesn't matter when you put it out. As long as it's great, you have a better chance than most. Where is the Love, for example, the Black Eyed Peas, or Fergie, Big Girls Don't Cry, or John Legend, All of Me. There's so many of them. Obviously, Sean Paul has a whole bunch of songs like that.
So that's it. That's everything from me. Thank you so much to everyone who listened to this 4th episode of Wrap Up with a recap of Season 6. Join us on the 5th and last one, where we are going to do a recap of Season 7. My name is Miguel. This is the B Nation podcast, where we are bringing you the best new music from around the world, which is great, but being kind is everything. Bye bye.